All right, let's get right into it. A lot of us think building wealth is just one long, straight climb, but that's not how it works at all. It's way more like a video game. You beat one level and suddenly you're on the next one, where all the rules are different, the enemies are tougher, and the strategy that just got you a win is now totally useless. And this right here is the crazy part. Let's say you've hustled and saved up your first $100,000. That is amazing, seriously. But it's also a huge danger zone because the exact same habits, that intense frugality, the penny pinching that got you here, will actually sabotage your journey to $1 million. Getting this one concept is the difference between getting stuck and building real, life-changing wealth. So think of this as your strategy guide, your cheat sheet for the game of wealth. We're gonna walk through the key financial levels from your very first 10K all the way up, and we're gonna lay out the brand new rules you have to play by at each stage if you wanna keep leveling up. Okay, here's the game plan. First, we'll tackle that first psychological mountain, getting to $10,000 to finally kill that constant money anxiety. Then we'll talk about the big $50,000 shift, where you finally get to play offense instead of defense. After that, we'll dive into the $100,000 trap that gets so many people stuck. Then I'll show you the literal step-by-step ladder to $1 million, and we'll finish with the most important change of all, learning to ask the right kind of questions. So let's start at level 1, that first critical milestone. Getting $10,000 in the bank has almost nothing to do with the stuff you can buy with it. Its real power is what it does inside your head. It's the magic number that flips your daily life from a state of constant, low-grade panic to a feeling of control. And you can see the difference right here. On the left, before you have that cushion, you are in pure survival mode. Every choice is defensive, your body is literally swimming in the stress hormone cortisol, and a flat tire feels like the end of the world. But look at the right side. After you cross that 10K line, your whole mindset shifts to security. You can actually make proactive choices, your stress levels physically drop, and that same flat tire, it's just an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. And that's the whole point. The biggest win isn't about spending the money. It's the peace of mind you get just knowing it's there. You stop agonizing over buying the name brand pasta. You suddenly have the mental energy to think about your career, about your future. You can finally take that online course that might just get you a raise. That 10K, it unlocks your brain. Okay, so you've got that breathing room. What's next? Hitting $50,000 is a complete transformation. This isn't just more peace of mind. This is the moment your entire relationship with money flips from being driven by fear to being driven by opportunity. Think about it. Before you hit this security threshold, your entire game is defense. You're focused on cutting back, on saving every last dollar, investing feels like you're at a casino, and losing your job is a 5-alarm fire. But once you're over that line, the game completely changes. Now, you get to play offense. Your focus shifts from cutting a few bucks here and there to massively increasing your income. Investing becomes a tool, and a job loss is just a bump in the road. But listen up, because here's a huge warning. This is exactly where the $50,000 trap shows up. You start to feel a little bit rich, you ease up on those good habits, you let your spending creep up to match your savings, and just like that, all your progress gets torpedoed. You cannot get comfortable here. This is where the real work actually begins. And that brings us to the most dangerous level of all, the 6-figure mark. Hitting $100,000 is an incredible feeling, but it's also where the vast majority of people get stuck, sometimes for decades, because they keep trying to play by the old rules. This slide is everything. It shows you the two completely different games. The old game, on the left, that got you here, was all about optimization. Saving pennies, clipping coupons. The most valuable thing in the world was $1 saved. But the new game, the one that gets you to $1 million, is all about maximization. The main activity isn't saving pennies anymore, it's building systems. The focus isn't on coupons, it's on accelerating your income. And the most valuable resource you have is no longer $1, it's an hour of your time. So what's the biggest enemy at this stage? It's that feeling of being comfortable. Your income is pretty good, you've proven you can save, you feel secure. That feeling, that's the #1 thing that will stop you from becoming truly wealthy. It kills your drive to push for more and to ask the bigger questions that lead to explosive growth. So how do you break through that comfort zone? You have to stop thinking about just saving. You need to start thinking in systems. At this level, your money needs to work for you like a finely tuned machine, and it has to follow a very specific step-by-step ladder. And this right here is that ladder. And the order is absolutely critical. You have to claim it in this exact sequence. First, get your full 401k match from your job. It is free money, an instant 100% return. Don't leave it on the table. Second, kill all of your high-interest debt, like credit cards. Third, fund a Roth IRA if you can. Fourth, go back to that 401k and max it out. Fifth, if you have an HSA, max that out too. It's got a triple tax advantage. And only then, when all of that is done, do you move on to a regular taxable brokerage account. Now, you want a simple 5-minute hack that could literally be worth over $1 million? It's called the annual 1% rule. Every single year, maybe on New Year's Day, you log into your accounts and you bump up your investment rate by just 1 or 2%. It's so small you probably won't even feel it in your paycheck, but the results over time are just staggering. Let me show you. Let's say we have a 30-year-old, makes about 70 grand a year, and they invest a flat 10% for 35 years. They're gonna end up with about $1.8 million, which is great. That's a solid retirement. But watch what happens. If that exact same person uses the 1% rule, just bumping their rate up a little bit each year, they end up with over $3 million. That's a $1.2 million difference, all from a tiny change that takes 5 minutes once a year. That is the power of a system. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important mindset shift of all. Once you have a 6-figure net worth and your systems are running on autopilot, you have to completely change the kinds of questions you waste your brain power on. Your time has now become your most valuable asset, hands down. Wasting it on small fry decisions is the biggest mistake you can make. At this level, you have to stop asking what I call $5 questions. You know exactly what these are. These are the questions that got you here. Should I drive across town to save 10 cents on gas? Is the generic brand of cereal really worth it? Answering these questions burns up precious mental energy for tiny, tiny return. Your time is worth so much more than that now. So you need to take all that focus, all that energy you were spending on the small stuff, and you need to aim it at the big levers, the big decisions. It's time to start asking $50,000 questions. These are the questions that actually move the needle. Questions like, am I leaving $20,000 a year on the table because I'm afraid to negotiate my salary? Or, is this massive car payment secretly killing my ability to get rich? Or, is buying this house actually the best move for me right now, or will it trap me? The answers to these questions can change your net worth by hundreds of thousands of dollars. So look, if you take one thing away today, let it be this. There is no one-size-fits-all rulebook for getting rich. It is a dynamic game. And the strategy that gets you through one level is the very thing that will hold you back on the next. You have to be willing to evolve. At the end of the day, the journey from $100,000 to $1 million isn't just about the money. It's about buying yourself more freedom, more choices, more control over your own life. So the real question is, are you still playing by the old rules, or are you ready to learn the new ones and start asking the questions that will actually get you there?